too. But let's find out. Game number 1, Wentworth taking on Worcester Poly. Gentlemen, let's rock.
And the reason that everybody focuses on speed is just because it doesn't matter what you're doing. Offense, defense, transition, speed is so valuable in everything you do in pretty much any opportunity. And actually, Arius War, he will deliver one into the top right of the net, courtesy of Wahujin.
And this time, instead of speed, it's Wahujin slowing the play down in the corner, making a defender miss. He sets this whole play up for that. Wahujin already paying dividends here for Worcester on the starting roster.
Set the tone, get this early goal. That's the goal for both teams. Worcester Poly is able to do exactly that. Let's see if they can keep the overall momentum going.
And so, already smacked in the mouth of Wentworth, and they run into each other. Quick pass on the transition. 3-puck. He's able to get another goal, and Worcester come out the gates rolling.
And Horst just not able to get a good handle on this ball. Nobody there to follow up. Macanex is just on the rotate back instead of on offense, and it allows a big gap in the middle of the field, and the 1-2 back the other way. Free one for Worcester Poly, and just blasted over his head.
Wentworth has to take this moment to say, okay, guys, we're in the series here. Let's just reset. Get back to, we know we can play this game. Let's just get back to doing what we do best. Let's see if they're able to actually make that happen.
And for Wentworth, they're still fighting for control of the ball here, and you saw going up for that was Horst along with Boston Brother. He is going to get back down in order to make that challenge. Working with little boost here. Horst is on the wing on the far side here for Boston Brother. A big miss on the back wall, but 3-puck picks up the piece.
And already, definitely the speed game out of the midfield much improved for Worcester Poly, as they are right on top of plenty of things, not allowing Wentworth to have time to recover. You'll need to see them step it up a little bit. They do win one challenge versus Wahujin, and that will be covered up by the Engineers. A 1-2. Boston Brother waiting in the right place at the right time, but he will not have an opportunity. So the Leopards trying to get things going currently, but the stingy defense from the Engineers.
But it's good for Wentworth. They needed at least this series and this drive to get things going after those first 2 goals were scored in the first 25 seconds of the game. It allows them, as Haloran had stated earlier, just to kind of reset the mind, and they're putting on some solid pressure. It's just about finding that shot on net and getting more than just that one that they had earlier. Macanex looking for Boston Brother. He's got Horst, or it's Macanex back again off the backboard. Boston Brother, the shot top left. He can't get to Macanex, so close. And Worcester hang on.
He was right there coming off the back wall to slam that into the corner. And that really was a great improvement for the Leopards going back to Season 2, was the addition of Boston Brother and Horst. They really did up the offensive production of this Leopards crew, and currently, outside of the 2 they've allowed, they've pretty much been on pace to command the entirety of the game. This is one of the few opportunities that Worcester Poly has had the opportunity to try and lock them down, and even that doesn't last too long. Boston Brother towards the net and kicked aside. Arius War denies.
And it was a good idea by Boston Brother. He recognized that the Worcester defense was still rotating back, trying to get set. Tries to take a quick shot. There's another one off the backboard, just missing it. Macanex is there as well. The entire Wentworth offense caught on their opposite goal line, but Macanex able to make a challenge. Here comes Horst, dumping it down for Boston Brother. Too close to the box. Still Wentworth threatening. Macanex kicks it down towards the box. Boston Brother has the second touch. Horst playing it far. He has to play reactive there in midfield.
Dude, they're going for some nutty pass plays right now on the Leopard side of things. The jump early from Macanex, they wanted the pass back, and they're feeling themselves. The problem is the execution right now for the Leopards, but currently some scary offense. This is a great miss, though, to allow the Engineers a chance to break back out, but no space. Arius War all the way back on his own side. They will have to play a little bit more defense and battle for possession.
Macanex tried to carry that one up the side, but he was challenged. And now trying to play a bully maybe against Wahujin, but that's just a touchdown to Boston Brother. He gets a clean touchdown, trying to find a way in, but again, it's just defended well on the backboard and boomed away. Worcester have looked very strong here early on. Those 2 quick goals they got, well, that's all they've needed so far. Wentworth, they've had some pressure, but when you talk about quality shot opportunities, they really have been few and far between. Boston Brother has a chance here, but again, too light. 3-puck hasn't cleared easily.
And speak not about lack of trying either. For Wentworth have definitely tried to create some good opportunities, as Wahujin actually had a wide open net down the middle, but a little bit too much lift on that shot. just took it right away from him, and 3POC trying to hang on close. Makinex must delay or they would have been in trouble. Wahujin out to the midfield, and it's now time management for Worcester Poly. Pass to the middle, Wahujin trying to track it down, and Wentworth need to get things going back the other way, but it is now Worcester Poly in chokehold mode. Just don't let him out of the midfield line.
Oh, 3POC, if he had just waited a little bit longer for his teammate to get there, they had the space. They weren't going to feel the pressure on the offensive end.
They're trying.
Yeah.
If they wanted that pinch in the midfield line, it would have been straight towards the middle of the net. But too little too late now. Game number 1, probably going to edge over to Worcester Poly. Offense all day long, pressure at least for the Leopards, but not able to generate the actual shot on target that what you need.
And you know, if that's the only thing you have to fix, you really can go into game 2 feeling quite confident, because Wentworth did put together a couple of really nice chances. It's just that that execution at the final. I mean, we had that pass from Boston Brother back to Makinex that they couldn't complete.
They wanted the nutty shots.
Yeah.
They were there.
They were.
It was just that the slight adjustments that need be made, but Worcester Poly hang on. Early lead, couldn't outdo it.
You know, going into this series, both teams were like, we want to pick up our speed. That's the biggest thing that we're looking to improve. And for the most part, I'd say that both teams were successful. In terms of Worcester Poly themselves, their offense, as long as they keep playing at that level, I'm not worried about them at all. It's the defense that creates something of a question mark for me, because there was a couple of times where Arias was just flat-footed watching a goal miss. Yeah. And I think if the accuracy goes up a bit, this could be a much more dangerous series.
If the accuracy is there, then this is a much different game 1. And the fact that the only 2 shots generated from Worcester were at the beginning of the game, they generated no shots after that. You cannot win games like that. And yes, the defense was there, but they also had hope. They also had help from Wentworth on a couple of those plays. That ball not going in the net.
Let's see if Wentworth is able to pick up that accuracy going into game 2. Let's find out.
And so, block right down in front of the box, but for Worcester, it's about just being able to generate more offense. And for Wentworth, just keep doing what you're doing and find that accuracy. Just a game of inches as far as the net's concerned.
Offense does tend to win you games, and here's a great opportunity for a transition goal. A nasty kick, though, and Arias Ward will be late. He will elect to give away possession to Boston Brother. Makinex to follow up. 3POC, the first one there, down the gut for himself, and tries to cut it inside, but Boston Brother has everything tied down as Arias Ward trying to battle for position. He's actually got it. Wahujin trying to close the gap, and he will find it right into the top of the net. Just couldn't find the clear, and Worcester Poly again on the board first in game 2.
This was almost bad for Worcester on the play. Both Arias Ward and Wahujin were so far up initially, but 3POC was able to, like you said, go right up the gut, split the gap on the transition, which bought plenty of time for Worcester to do it again against the backboard and score that goal.
I just feel like Wentworth gave them that opportunity. The clears weren't there, so it was only a matter of time before someone was able to get some boost and run back down mid and see if they can find something happening. Worcester probably up 1.
Wentworth, right now, 3 goals unanswered in the series. That double commit, but right down into Arias War. Still in play here for Horse. Back over to Makinex. That shot's just off the crossbar. Boston Brother can't take it either. Wahujin picks up the save there.
And it was a bit sluggish on the defensive rotation for Worcester Poly. Fortunate that the shot didn't have as much power as they would have liked, and they will tip this one into the middle. Double commit because they were really scared about an incoming 3POC. But Wentworth almost got that one. Arias Ward to deny. And Worcester Poly again, just damage control so far as that's kicked aside by Makinex.
3POC almost finding that touch too. Worcester playing super aggressive on that offensive end, looking to just try to find that infield pass right in front of the box. So hard to defend at times. Boston Brother off to the corner. Wentworth, that's where they find a lot of headway. They're able to find their ways into the corner. It's just working their way to the middle of the box and finding that shot. The struggles continue here. Makinex bounce off the ramp. Let's see if they can get a shot here. Boston Brother's shot is blocked by Wahujin as he's taken out on the backside by Horse.
And Horse demoed him, but he also took away that corner boost. Unfortunately, they weren't able to hang on to the ball. So even though they do open up a hole, they didn't have possession to make it matter. And a nice tip from Boston Brother to allow everybody to reset here for the Leopards. And down the middle, 3POC right there for it. Free ball, Makinex and Horse miscomm. And that'll open up a gap that Makinex must close one more time, but that actually really does put a little bit of a wrench here in the Wentworth offense as it spreads them a little too thin.
Yeah, Horse was able to pick this up. Boston Brother can't make that challenge. Still trying to play aggressive up on that play. And Horse, that touch just gets away from him. He has to carry that one out. if he wants to try to carry it out past the blue half. Mackinac able to do so now here for Wentworth off the back wall. Horse has the shot, and it's blocked for Arius War. Boston Brother keeps it alive off the corner. Mackinac's on the wing, and he's not even close. Cleared away again by Wahujin.
Mackinac's definitely playing the block there because he knew he was beat to the ball. And unfortunately, a miss on defense cost him. Double demo from Boston Brother. Should be a free ball for the Leopards, but 3POC dodging a demo of his own in the midfield, buying so much time and not letting the transition for Wentworth come through with a couple of precious seconds that those demos would have bought to really put the spawning defenders in a bad spot. So a nice play from 3POC to just buy all the time in the world for his team.
I'm very impressed with Wahujin's play. You heard Arius War talk about it. He wanted to put in Wahujin as a means of getting more aggressive, and Wahujin absolutely has been aggressive. They still haven't really had as many offensive opportunities as you'd like to see. It's the same story from game one where they score an early goal and they just hang on to it for dear life as Wentworth desperately tries to find the back of the net. But Wahujin, Arius War, Horse, or excuse me, not Horse, he's on the other team, but packed down the other side. A minute left. Worcester just hanging on to this 1-goal lead.
And why not? It has been a principled defensive showcase as they try and muscle in a big insurance goal under the minute. But it has been great improvement on the defensive side of things for Worcester Poly. They're much more capable of handling pressure than they were during previous seasons. And it's great to see that improvement. Arius War talked about it in his interview. I hope my improvement and my teammates' improvement is able to net us a couple of these wins. And so far, it's let them hang on to this 1-goal lead, and credit to them because a 1-goal lead is basically no lead at all for 5 minutes. Absolutely. The odds of clean sheets are so slim.
It is so difficult, and you are in potentially shutting out Wentworth twice with the amount of offense that they've put out is really impressive to say for Worcester. And game number 2 is much more a machination of their defense rather than Wentworth missing shots on net.
Absolutely.
They've blocked so many really good shots. A quick pass blocked as time expires, and Worcester take it to a 2-0 lead in the series, maybe sweeping Wentworth.
Worcester Poly definitely showing up on a defensive side of the ball this game. In game number 1, for Wentworth, I was like, the opportunities are there. They just need to find the accuracy. Going into game number 2, I do think that they found opportunities, but the quality wasn't necessarily there. But the defense on the other side certainly is improving. I feel like Wentworth, if they played the way they played this game in game number 1, they would have had that. But we're seeing constant evolution on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I just did a nice little stretch there because that is exactly what Wentworth is going to have to do if they want to come out here. You got to shake everything off and be like, all right, fine. You've stopped everything games 1 and 2, but we know we're going to break you down eventually because they're still commanding the pitch. Like, they have all the pressure, all the command, all the possession on the ball. It's just you got to break down the defense.
Worcester Poly 1 game away from sweeping this entire series. Can Wentworth turn things around? We'll find out in about 4 minutes, 50 seconds.
And it really could have been that one double demo play from Boston Brother that 3POC just made a great play in the midfield to buy extra time that could have been the difference maker in that entirety of game number 2 as Arius War says, get out of my face, Boston Brother, and the Leopards will be tied up here for a few moments.
And 3POC, he did that in game 1 as well, where there was a huge transition potential for Wentworth, but 3POC kills any potential drive when the rest of his team were trying to get back into position. He just does such a great job out of the midfield, buying his team tons of time. A big miss is going to allow Wahujin to get a free one off the net from midfield. Worcester with the lead again.
So this actually goes all the way back to the missed touch. You don't see it on the replay. There was a demo. They opened up a hole in Worcester Poly. It was a slow challenge from Wahujin, but the guy who had Wahujin beat missed the ball. And then Horse just wasn't in position to deal with it. And Worcester got another wide open transition goal.
Worcester Poly just seems to have this play style of we get a goal maybe too early on, and then we just hold on to our lead.
Oh, there we go.
And
oops.
Perhaps
way to go, Lauren.
You ruined.
I'm sorry, Worcester Poly.
That's Wentworth's first goal of the series, and it's a big one for them as they tie up the series here and find the pick and just catch Worcester out of sorts.
The guy sitting in the net just saw a Mackinac fly across the screen. And actually, it really is that moment of hesitation that beat him, because if Mackinac doesn't jump at that ball, you already know the guy's just going to jump up and slap that away, and just the act of seeing Makinex cross his screen made him second guess, and it let that ball get by him as this is launched upfield by Makinex to a waiting horse and make it 2-1, the first lead for Wentworth.
Yeah, a little lackadaisical on offense. 3-puck playing really closely to his teammate. It just full faith that he was going to win in the corner there. He didn't. And the third man playing up past midfield, no one's going to be able to get back to that ball in time. Well played by Wentworth on the transition.
Coming off that last goal, I was excited to see how Worcester Poly would handle a situation where they had to regain a lead. We haven't seen them do that this entire season. The answer seems to be perhaps they struggle once goals start to rack up on the board.
And maybe this is where, you know, the offensive struggles will now hurt them at a deficit, Haloran. So it's absolutely something to note here for Worcester. They have to get more offense on the board if they have hope right now against Wentworth in game number 3.
Well, a chance here. Arius War, not the cleanest touch, but Wahujin, a nice follow-up. Horse tries to get it to space, and Makinex clutch interference in the midfield as it was going to be another free one. Makinex wants one into the right-hand side, just skims past the ball off his nose. And Worcester Poly avoid a big insurance goal as we approach the 3-minute mark.
I feel like game 1 Wentworth's coming out again with the crazy plays maybe. I mean, that one was just kind of a simple pass, but when you start hitting those consistently, you're like, we can go for that again. And then they just get crazier and crazier. But less than 3 minutes, plenty of time on the clock for Worcester as Wahujin moves downfield, was hoping for a boost, a ball, or something. Either way, like you said, caused hesitation. Coming in is Arius War straight down, but Makinex on the rotation back has the touch. There's Horse playing it close to Makinex. Makinex against the backboard. No challenge off. Boston Brother can't get there in time.
And Boston Brother didn't want to go for it because he knew that that guy jumping across out of the corner had him beat. He had to wait. And unfortunately, that hesitation, that indecision of just go for it, hope somebody rotates back, nets them another opportunity here as this is bounced off the back wall. Wahujin missed. Horse is in a tough spot. Back post shot. A-plus placement. Make it 3-1.
This all starts with Arius War's whiff over in the attacking third. He had a clean shot at the net. He couldn't make contact with the ball, and it set everything out of sorts. Wentworth grabbed possession of the ball, and it's just a great move downfield for Wentworth to get that insurance goal, and that's big against Worcester, who have struggled. They've generated, in the first 2 games, they only generated 5 shots on net.
I'm impressed with Horse's ability to just adapt as that ball comes off the back line to make that adjustment to find the right angle. Heads up play, Wentworth showing up right now.
Touch out by Horse, almost dunked by Wahujin.
And it would have been such a big goal as well because it gets you right back into that 1-goal deficit, 2 minutes on the clock. You're feeling amped up and ready to go. But they will have to wait a few more seconds. Ball control from Horse here as he just takes the ball back, leads himself to water.
And he drinks a lot of it. Wahujin able to throw it out to the side, 2-pack, or 2-pack, excuse me.
3-pack.
3-pack.
And he will deliver. Boston Brother into the top corner, make it 4-1.
It was going to happen eventually, but yeah, Boston Brother, he just has free reign here. Everyone on Worcester is caught in this corner, expecting everyone else to go for the ball, and so nobody goes for the ball, and Boston Brother's like, thanks, man.
We're seeing a different side to Worcester Poly. Jorby, you called it out in game number 1. Got a couple of goals out of the gate, but where's the backup offense towards the rest of the game? Wentworth is really challenging that concept.
Yeah, and something Achieves says a lot, and something I definitely agree with, is that in Rocket League, offense wins you series, and if you can't not generate consistent pressure on the offensive half of the field, 9 times out of 10, you will not win that series. And right now, while Worcester were able to go up the first 2 games in the set, this is where it starts to break down. You need to see them pick up the offense, the shots, and they start right there with Arius War. Less than a minute, they cut the lead down to 2.
And there's just a little bit of a hole here. Makinex went for a challenge, but so did Horse. Horse called Makinex off, and the problem is Horse was so beat to that ball. They tried to really force the issue there a little bit too much, and it does allow Worcester Poly back in. 2 goals in a minute. We've seen it before. Can they do it here?
Worcester was able to get some momentum out of the midfield on that transition. 1 touch in the air is all it takes. Like you said, Achieves, we've seen goals rack up, but
I take it back. They're done. I take it back.
Boston Brother putting the final points on this one.
Yeah, I mean, it was an open net, booming clear. We've seen that story a lot in CRL Spring, and you know, we'll say the same thing every time. You got to be able to respect that clear potential. You can't be over aggressive in your positioning. Otherwise, you get beat like that.
Well, they did have to be over aggressive, to be fair. It is 2 goals under a minute. You got to get something done.
Pull the goalie, if you will.
Pull the goalie, if you will. And regrettably, that time, it definitely backfired. Macanex will deliver one more at the 27-second mark. Cruising for Wentworth. You know, that's why I did the stretch before Game 3. The gloves are off. You can't afford to miss anymore.
And this was what Game 1 maybe would have looked like had their shots been on target, as Worcester just couldn't get things figured out on the defensive end. And even in Game 2, Wentworth's shots, while they were on target, it was right into a player perfectly positioned to make the save. You really didn't feel like Worcester stretched a lot to use that kind of scheme of phrase on the defensive end.
Wentworth is out here actively solving for X on how to rack up goals.
I like
and Worcester probably, like, they're just not adjusting. Right now, if I'm Wentworth, I have so much confidence going into the rest of this series.
Absolutely, and you start the reverse sweep right now with an emphatic 6-2 victory. Wentworth, they continue to chug along the way they have in this series, and this time it nets them a W.
It does net them a W this time, but to be fair, there definitely were a few things that Worcester Poly still taking advantage of. Every now and again, it's stretched a little too thin for Wentworth. So while the defense is, well, obviously the defense didn't come out to play this game for Worcester Poly, overall, still just not up to par. The thing you got to start winning is the challenge game in the midfield. They are just straight losing that battle if you're Worcester Poly.
I want them to keep their momentum past the 2-minute mark. It's something that we noticed every game so far. They're able to get 1 goal, maybe even 2 out of the gate. And the game plan seems to be like, all right, let's just hold on to our lead. This was the first time we see them in a situation where they need to regain the lead, and we see how that plays out.
The dried-out offense doesn't work.
Wentworth, they just need to keep doing what they're doing going into Game 4.
I mean, it's been the same game plan for them since Game 1. They've been on offense the entire series.
It really hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is
putting it on net.
Yeah, who scored?
Oh,
and
my
and
goodness.
that touches in for Macanex. Hello, Wentworth on the board.
Did he touch it, or did he just make the defender think he touched it? Yes, Macanex just lobs one, and everyone biting on Boston Brother, diving across. Unfortunate, but that's why challenge angle is so important. If he's a little bit more direct and isn't so worried about where he can place that ball, if he goes a little more at the ball, he definitely keeps it clear.
And another one for Boston Brother off the backboard on the kickoff, uncontested. It's a goal every time.
So, okay, 3POC didn't. The problem is 3POC's pathing after he grabbed the boost in the corner. He started edging forward, expecting his team to win that challenge in the midfield line, instead of playing a little more passive, going up the back wall or into the net, and he just didn't have the time to react.
If you're a Worcester Poly fan, it's officially okay to be concerned about their ability to take this series. We've seen them struggle their most when they're tied or falling behind in a score count. Wentworth, they are showing no signs of slowing down in game number 4.
And this is really big for Worcester. This is a true test for them, as they don't get an early goal this time around. Instead, it's Wentworth who get 2 early goals. And so now this is the test of your mettle right here, trying to find an opportunity and playing that defensive, sitting on your goal line there. And you understand is how close Wentworth was playing to the ball. You have to respect the clear potential, but still, for Worcester with plenty of time, nothing.
Well, that was the thing. It was a lot of the expectation to generate offense will be from 3POC and Arias 4. That's what he was talking about in his pregame interview. It's going to be a lot on those two, and it's up to Wahujin to be that third man and figure out that timing to be there and really force it home. And that time, you saw that maybe a little bit of the inexperience there, just so far back. Maybe he didn't have resources, but either way, not in a position to deal with it.
Well, Horst not even hopping up for that one, maybe just feeling like he didn't have a solid touch on the ball there either way. Macanex, that's a solid touchdown field here for Wentworth, and immediately followed up again. Almost got him possession of the ball back. Wahujin undercuts it. Boston Brother was playing the hit as well. An interesting sequence here.
He went for the shot.
That shot goes away, almost picked up by Macanex. And Arias War finally able to clear this for Worcester.
But he's, if he had more boost, he's got some help though. 3POC right there is Wahujin there this time. He's a little slow, but a big miss. Again, getting baited out by a guy who had him beat. Lifted by Macanex off the back wall. Boston Brother beat by Wahujin. It'll be a transfer opportunity for the Engineers, but already Macanex in the net. Back wall pass. There's 3POC right on it. And Wahujin just to buy a few seconds. Not the best touch. Will be back the other way for the Leopards.
And 3POC's positioning was perfect on that play. That one for Wentworth. Oh, the touch
dear.
against the crossbar. It's going to be in for Macanex. Tough angle, but it still has to be better for Worcester. 3-0 for Wentworth.
You knew this one was coming as soon as 3Pac's angle wasn't behind the ball, and it was just right back off his own back wall. Everyone knew he wanted it to the corner. Unfortunately, too far off the line.
The facade of early offense has entirely fallen off right now for Worcester Poly, and it feels like some of their game plan is being readily exposed by Wentworth. All they needed was to get the accuracy up, it seems like, because they are just looking like a brand new team.
It really was. And you're already seeing this time it's 3Pac coming in out of the midfield, already keeping that pressure on, putting Horse in a tough spot. Boston Brother, not even sure what his plan was, just driving across the clear lane for his own teammate, and it will allow Worcester Poly to stay on offense here. He's got Arius War, but not the cleanest pass, and it will allow a few precious moments for the Leopards to get their feet under him.
Yeah, Worcester needs to score on this possession right here. If they can't do it here, that one just across the box, it's sent away in the corner. Macanex flipped around to it. 3Pac has tried to find an angle back to the ball. Arius War is there to keep it in play here for Worcester. Off the back wall, able to win it once as Horse. Macanex almost had Wahoojan beat, but it's a great challenge in midfield. Arius War beat by Boston Brother, and Worcester have to try again.
And you can see already Wahoojan figuring out he's got to be a little more present, more forward to keep that pressure on and make Wentworth struggle on defense a little bit. As the pressure definitely coming through, Arius War will take this one away. Not the best hit, but it is back into Boston Brother.
Wahoojan just trying to keep this one away from Horse. 3Pac now forced out to the corner.
And he got his boost.
And he's able to carry this out. Oh, a great pass to Wahoojan. He's got his man, but it's too late. Macanex able to play it out to the corner. It's not over just yet. Arius War keeps it in play. He's met there again for Wahoojan off the back wall. Is met by Boston Brother. Still off midfield. Somebody's got to throw this away. Arius War can only square this up. It's a loose ball in midfield. Horse makes one miss, and he gets by one defender. He's almost by two defenders. 3Pac at least neutralizes it, but it's good for Boston Brother. Blocked by Arius War.
Big save indeed, but just time management at this point. Not sure if they really have the time to make a 3-goal comeback. They had a couple of good stints on offense, which was good. It was what you wanted to see, the tightening up out of the midfield, get in front of the Leopards and not let them out of their own half for free. And it does bode well going into Game 5, but you're not sure if they've really got what it takes to keep that up in the interim, because really sometimes you get locked into a groove in a game, but that one reset, it either helps or hinders, and we'll have to see what happens in Game 5 for the Engineers.
And out to the side again, Macanex here met on the challenge. And again, the midfield challenge game is a continued struggle for this Worcester team. They still haven't been able to find any foothold at all and have been forced to just play back, to scramble, to jump up and backwards just to try to make touches to get it away from the box. And it's either led to a Wentworth goal or a Wentworth continuation. Either way you swing it, it's Wentworth fighting back in this series, taking it to a Game 5 after being down 2-0.
You know, I said Wentworth, they're looking like a new team, but I was wrong in it. They're looking like the exact same team we've seen from game number 1, except the accuracy has gone up. With how much they've been able to just smother Worcester Poly, I am not at all surprised to see the score go the way that it has. And when I think about Worcester Poly's position, I'm like, how did it get back in the game? Derby, I really go to your way of thinking of get boost, if anything, to enable your own play, but to deny the play of your opponent. One of the things I noticed is that on the pitch, there was an instance where 3Pac clears the ball, sends it over the pitch, wraps around, but doesn't pick up the boost. So they have no real opportunity to make something happen in terms of a transition, and I think that's a large part of why we're not seeing any dynamic offense out of them.
But it was good because you did see them start to equalize the offensive pressure at least towards the latter half of that game number 4. So blocks are set. They realize, all right, we can't just rely on hanging on defense and not making a mistake. They know that they can't allow Wentworth to keep putting pressure and pressure and pressure. So Game 5, the most important one is going to be minute 1. Can you at least go even? Keep it in that midfield line. Battle for possession. Go back and forth. You got to see Worcester pick that aspect up and keep things close early on.
It all comes down to this. Wentworth almost completing the reverse sweep. Can Worcester Poly hang on? Game 5, we'll find out.
Wentworth also have to be careful here early against Worcester and scared of the transition on the crossbar. There's Macanex to the top corner. 14 seconds in and they fire.
You're gutted because 3Pac, 1, missed the clear. Hero effort to even ping that off the bar, but advantage position. Macanex lurking in the midfield line says you didn't clear it hard enough and right into the top corner.
You actually hate to see it. Achieves, you were like, minute 1, very important for game number 5. Let's see who gets ahead early. Wentworth, they are all over this right now.
They're just jumping at these balls, hoping that they get in front of it. Again, I go back to earlier. It was off the kickoff that Wentworth scored a goal, and 3POC had pushed up, expecting his team to win a challenge instead of respecting the challenge potential from Wentworth. Here they come on the other way as Macanex clears it down.
And it was good. You saw Woohoojin getting up involved, trying to keep the pressure up, even though it cost him all his boost. He made a solid challenge. Arius War continuing the same thing, and he's got everyone beat. It's back the other way, and this is going to be a solid Game 5 if Worcester Poly is able to keep playing solid midfield defense like this.
Yeah, Boston Brother, he needed to either try to catch that ball onto the sidewall, buy his team some time to come forward because they were both too far back onto the play. He ended up just passing it to the other team, which just allowed that entire play to happen. So misplay from Boston Brother gives the tie game here to Worcester.
I think a lot of it comes down to boost. Also, he's already in the air full speed, taking that shot, ties it up. Worcester Poly, they're not done yet.
Woohoojin was straight beat to that ball, but just the act of him going forces some type of touch, and his teammates are able to figure out behind him what's going to come at them. So just that aggression alone is all you need to see from Worcester Poly. Of course, not a quality miss there, and it pings off the last defender. They miss the clear, and Horace will deliver the lead.
Yeah, this one's on Arius War. He couldn't find the first touch. It put Woohoojin and 3POC scrambling from the corner, trying to make the touch, and he did get that touch. It's just, that's tough to make coming off the side.
Wentworth shows that they still have the blueprints to a successful goal play against Worcester Poly. Again, Worcester Poly find themselves in a position where they're chasing a lead. Do they have it in them to keep it going? But Horse, the bucking Bronco himself, out here ringing it up for Wentworth.
Macanex just wins the challenge. Arius War, he's got ball cam on. He's watching the ball bounce off his corner. Has no idea Horse is coming until it's well too late. And that is advantage of position to a T. You can see it all in front of you coming at it from the midfield line. But when you can only see, 2% of the pitch, you're asking to get beat.
Absolutely. Woohoojin can't get over Horse, excuse me. And Arius War, he's going to try to carry this out. He does win one challenge, but Boston Brother always there to keep the play alive, and a good pass. He splits the gap, gets between the defenders, gets back to the ball, high in front of the box. Arius War has one touch. It's not good enough.
Look at Horse.
And cannot get it. Woohoojin is there to deny the chance. Still alive for Boston Brother up against the backboard. Here's Macanex into the, no, it's blocked by Woohoojin. He got in front. Boston Brothers there. Horse coming in, and the North Steed scores again for Wentworth.
And it's this difference. You can see this entire challenge game from Wentworth out of the midfield, beating Worcester Poly to the ball up in front of the net, despite Worcester Poly being objectively closer in distance. The speed coming out of the midfield from Wentworth, the challenge game that keeps the pressure on, that has been the difference maker all series long, and why Wentworth's offense has had so much success.
Wentworth are absolute monsters right now. They have not changed their plan at all. Stay consistent, stay aggressive on offense. Sooner or later, we'll be able to punch one through. Worcester Poly, they have to respond. They have 2.5 minutes to do that.
And it still comes back to the midfield. Macanex, somebody's got to be there from Worcester to challenge him on that play. Woohoojin, smart to try to catch it down, but again, the aggressive play style from Boston Brother, it's been tough to be able to try to control anything in their own half. Woohoojin gonna try again. He gets under Boston Brother this time, off to the corner, pinches it across. Worcester, see what they got here.
And time, the biggest enemy for the Engineers, as they need to get something going. A quality win for Woohoojin. It's out in front of the box, but of course, who else? Horse, solid defense on the line. Arius War is trying to figure out what Boston Brother was going to do to that ball, but actually it was a brilliantly delayed play as he just waited to see how Arius was going to approach. And just went the one way he couldn't get after he decided.
And the Worcester defense running into each other on the play. That just straight across. Woohoojin again kicks this downfield. Worcester has to score right now, down by 3 with 1:40 left. And with 3POC gone, it's going to be tough.
It did indeed open up the one hole where they could have kept the pressure going. 3POC probably had that save if Macanex touched it. But since nobody did, it will waste a few more precious moments. The Leopards keeping up the pressure. And again, you see that difference. They're right on top of it out of the midfield line. They're just fast to the ball, but it will ping off the bar and be stuck in this corner, but they don't mind that. They're up by 3. Keep the pressure on. don't get it launched over your head. Not the best touch by Boston Brother. Arius War, though, doesn't really have too many options of where to put the ball. It'll be all individual effort if they want this one, and Mackinac shuts it down.
And they really are trying to force the issue on that corner. So many opportunities, and this could be
Horse.
it. And there it is for Horse. Picks up another goal. That's his 4th of game number 5. Absolutely stellar.
The same thing. They're all coming out of the same way. Arius War from one corner, Woohoojin from the other, and Horse from the midfield line. Who's got the best read? Horse all day.
Earlier, Chief, you said Horse led himself to the water. He's leading himself to the net right now in game number 5. Really making a statement here for the rest of this bracket.
And again, for Worcester, all right, excuse me, not Worcester, for Wentworth in game number 1, that sequence earlier where they were just banging it off of the crossbar, that's all they did in
It's
game
the same
1.
thing.
And Worcester still couldn't generate any offense, and they hung their hat off of 2 early goals, 1 off of the kickoff. Game number 2, they shut them out again, and they win again, and it's like, okay, but they're still not generating any offense. Wentworth are still giving them just insane amounts of pressure. They're gonna crack, right? And here we are in game number 5. Game 3 and 4, all Wentworth. Worcester have tried to fight back, but Wentworth have proven to be the faster team, have proven to be the better team today here in CRL Spring. And as time expires, they may pick up another for the road, but they'll be moving on to day number 3.
Now they got one more game.
Excuse me, they do have one more game.
Close
They'll be
one.
going to day 2. Guess what? We're already there, so we get to see them again. Wentworth win.
Wentworth, just consistency. One of the, 2 of the things that I pointed out in earlier portions of CRL is like being consistent, obviously important in single elimination format. Being clutch is also very important. Can you make those plays in an instance where your team absolutely needs you to? But the third aspect that I think the East region as a whole is really embodying for me is the ability to adapt. We've seen CGM pull that off 2 times going into game 5 of a series, and in this instance, it just felt like Worcester Poly was not able to adapt. They played the game one way. They're very comfortable having a lead. When you have to come to them, it's like, okay, that's how they like to play the game. But once they fall behind, it just seems like they were not able to make any adjustments whatsoever. And in single elimination formats, you don't get those opportunities to come back next week and make those adjustments.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, well, I guess that's all we got.
And to illustrate that inability to adapt, let's look at the numbers here. Games 1 and 2, Worcester Poly outscore Wentworth 3-0. Games 3 through 5, Wentworth outscore Worcester Poly 14-3. So yeah, you gotta fix it.
Yeah, I mean, just averaging over 3 shots per game for Worcester in that series. I mean, we were harping on it during the entire game. It's just something that they could never really fix. I think you hit it, Halloran. They weren't able to adapt to it, and it comes down to just being able to make the challenges in midfield. They were just slower to the ball, and sometimes it wasn't because of boost. It was just they weren't in position or they didn't have the read that Wentworth did. So it was a struggle for them to be able to compete with that, and in the end, it cost them the reverse sweep.
Definitely the capabilities to play at a faster level, to be able to move forward. Well, hopefully we'll see you guys in the fall, but at the end of the day, the battle for the speed has been decided as Wentworth moves forward in the bracket. Let's take a look at that to see what next challenge they have ahead for themselves. Goes to game 5, reverse sweep. Wentworth looks to be a pretty strong opposition to Rensselaer.
And we did get a little bit lucky, because if Worcester Poly won that, it would have been engineers versus engineers, and then we all would have just lost our minds. So, Wentworth, thank you for saving everybody's sanity, but a quality win for them. But you hope to see them start off in fashion instead of having to put that strain on themselves and play quality offense for 5 games straight.
Out of the gate, Worcester Poly definitely looks strong. Let's see if you guys had it right in Twitch chat. See if the poll was accurate. Wentworth able to go through with the reverse sweep. 67% believed.
Fair.
Well done.
They went
Well
6-1.
done.
It makes sense, Twitch chat. Way to vote with the numbers. You've done well.
We also have another tweet lined up. Let's see if I can keep my personal streak going.
You're doing well so far.
Ecliptic Sages.
You got it.
Easy. Got him.
Oh, wait, you messed up one yesterday. You said Gronkowski, but it was Gronowski, so...
It's okay. I understand how you mixed it up, though. I do. I do.
See?
Still messed
Read the tweet.
messed up.
Read the
This guy.
tweet. Read the tweet.
I know you can't script Rocket League, but today it seems to be scripted for the maximum amount of content.
I mean, you know, Corelli has done a great job coaching us on content all last season. I think Halloran's got involved in the content as
I have
well.
my moments.
Quite quality. So
Thank you.
we do try and work hard to deliver quality content to you guys at home. He's right, I don't. I just sit here and flip pens and look like a moron.
Achieves has generated the most content this season, so I can't even say that.
I would say so. The king of the pin flip, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great tweet. Thank you very much for that. I think it just comes down to East being that competitive a region. Here you go, buddy. Oh, the remix.
I've got two. I've got two. We're
Great
good.
tweet. Thank you very much. I want to see what else you guys have to say. Use hashtag CRL19. Send us your questions. Send us your comments. Maybe I get a chance to butcher your name at the bottom of the screen. We're going to take a short break. Hopefully achieve. Am I doing this too?
You got one?
Got
There we go.
Let's go. Don't go anywhere.